Today I'm going to talk about, the weird things that homesteaders say and do. I've been homesteading for, I think we're on our 22nd year, technically, of when we first started, from when we first started. So I've had a lot of things over the years that I've done and said, and I was doing the chores, which is usually when I think about these things, like when, what kind of video I'm going to make next is during my chores. But I actually ate a bug. So this is the title of this is I ate a bug and other strange weird things homesteaders say and do. I had actually been doing the horse chores, and there's all these little gnats flying around everywhere right now, and they're very small. Well, they're not super small. They're kind of the medium size between a fly and a gnat. I don't know what they're called. But anyway, I was doing chores and they just like rush up, when you go through things, and I had eaten the bug, which has been, I've eaten bugs over the years several times, probably didn't even know it. But it was just something like I said, I ate a bug, you know, and I thought, you know what, that'd be a good title for a YouTube video is I ate a bug and other strange things, weird things that homesteaders say and do. And so I got myself outside. Like I thought of this pretty much, well, I thought of the title a few days ago, and then I thought of uh the cover today, which I don't know if you saw it, but it's it has me holding a bunch of stuff that reusable stuff, and it says, "Don't throw that away," which is another thing we say. But I wanted just to say real quick, hi, Lisa. My friend Lisa is here, which she has been always one of the most supportive people in my life. So hi, Lisa. um, but so this is just an impromptu kind of video, and I wanted to talk about just the things that homesteaders do and say. And m- so I shared the I ate a bug story. But that's probably not the first time I've eaten bugs. I know I've eaten bugs off of produce that I've grabbed out of the garden. I tend to not pay attention sometimes when I'm picking like strawberries or something. So I'm pretty sure ants have been part of my diet. If you have stories like that, I'd love to hear it as well. I'm I'm I love the conversations. I love laughing at things that are funny. So if you have a good story, please share while you're watching. I plan to probably do more live streams like this. At the end of this video, I'm actually going to be answering some questions from my Homestead Income Plan group, Facebook group. Some questions that some of the members there had about. There's two questions in particular that I'll be answering. So if you want to stay to the end, be sure to. And then you can ask your own questions as well if you're new to homesteading, or if you've been homesteading a while and you just need some clarity or whatever. Just please feel free to ask those questions as well. Um, and let me know where you're from and how the weather is. I think we're getting ready to have another storm tonight and maybe tomorrow. These storms have been pretty intense lately. So if you're in the line of any of those storms, please let me know. I'd love to hear about it. Okay, so the first one is I ate a bug. That was the one I say, some things I say. I also have this obsession with hay twine, like, save that twine. This is something I've said, I'm sure, but but it's what I do. I save a hay twine all the time, and I use it. I've been using hay twine. It's like the thing, if MacGyver had hay twine, he could do like 101 things with it, because it works so well for so many things, and it's so strong. Like, you can tie everything together. Some of the things that we tie together, that we've tied together, are corral panels that don't fit together or something. We'll tie some hay twine on there. We've fixed things that are like netting things with hay twine. Um, yeah, and yeah, it's just one of those very useful things. We get round bales now for the horses, which don't usually come with hay twine. So now I have to get it from other sources, and a lot of times that is just the local where I get my hay or something like that. They'll have like a whole bucket full of them, so I usually grab some because I've used it in the garden. Have you used hay twine? And it's that nylon hay twine that I'm talking about. They also have like the jute kind of hay twine, which is handy, but that ends up falling apart after time. The nylon kind just like lasts forever. So if you haven't used that, it's so many uses for that. And I have my little notes here, and this is some of the things I wrote down of what I say. When we had uh, horses, well, when we have horses, but when we had goats, there was a lot of different things that would happen. And when you have animals, you you get really excited about certain things after they get sick. And I know this is not true just for homesteaders. It's true for anybody who owns animals. But some of the things I've said is like, she finally pooped. Like an animal that's like backed up, especially a horse, is like the scariest thing because they can have all kinds of problems. And so when they actually, have a first poop after a while, you're just like so excited. Some of the other things, like when my goats were going through, birthing periods, like something that I never ask anywhere else is, are the ligaments soft? That is the goat tail, and this is probably true of some other animals too, but I only know this of goats because I had them have babies before. But their tail ligaments around their tail like will get weak or something. I'm not actually even sure what's happening, but the tail will droop, and then they're close to having their host of being kidding their babies. So that's one thing I've said before. um and that seems strange and weird, and most people don't say that, I don't think. This is another one that um I say very every so often, and I'd probably unique to this, I'm not sure, but you know what I'm talking about. If you have to lock up your chickens at night, if you don't have a fancy automatic door, or a like, or your chickens aren't totally secure in their yard or whatever it is, there is something I call chicken dark. So around dusk, and it's not always dusk, it depends on when they want to go in a lot of times, but uh chicken chickens will go into their coop and start to roost. um and I call it chicken dark. So I might yell out, "Is it chicken dark yet?" Or "It's chicken dark," because you're worried that predators are going to find them, especially when we had them are free ranging, which we did have that in California. Here we don't have that, so chicken dark isn't as important. But I have to wait for chicken dark to actually close them up because they won't be in. So I have to wait every night, and it gets later in the summer. It's like 9, almost 10 o'clock sometimes. My chickens are still out. So if you haven't used that term before, I give you permission to use it. It's chicken dark. Maybe I'll get a t-shirt, say "Live life by chicken dark." I don't know, but anyway. But if this is still, if you have anything entertaining to share, please do share. Um, One thing I say a lot, and I know this is not unique to homesteaders either, is that um, you I kill two birds with one stone. I'm always trying to do uh more, as much as I can, like and in the same trip. So if I have to go do something down the hill because we live on a hill, I'll try to do as many things as I can while I'm down the hill so that I don't have to come up and down the hill. So killing two birds with one stone. This right here, what I'm doing right now with recording, is also killing two birds with one stone, because I'm hoping that this will be good enough to extract the audio and put on my podcast. I haven't had a podcast episode in a while, so if you're listening to this right now on the podcast, I ended up doing it. But killing two birds with one stone is like a philosophy I live by, like I make sure that I'm using my time wisely and doing as many things as I can. Not all the time, but a lot of times that's my goal is to use my time as wisely as I can and my energy as well. Uh so that's another thing I say. Let's see. I have oh, because of this video, the title of the title that I have and the or the cover that I put don't throw that away. I say that probably more than I should because you end up saving too many things that you actually don't need. But the thing about homesteaders, they tend to be very scrappy and be able to figure out what that thing actually is can be used for in other ways. In the picture that I have, the thumbnail that I have for this, I'm standing in front of something that my husband made out of pallets, out of wood pallets. So those have been very useful to us, and you know basically when you say don't throw that away, you want to reuse things and renew, reuse. So some of those things I had in that picture was a tarp. We use tarps for everything, for a lot of things. Jars, we save jars like crazy. Sometimes I'm like, do I really need this jar? And so I end up having to throw it away because I don't really need the jar. If you're like that too, please let me know if you save things that you know, to the extent that it's probably too much. I would love to hear that as well because I feel like I'm better than I used to be. We used to like save way too many things. One thing I will tell you is that if you save if you save something that is oh gosh, I lost my train of thought. I'm sorry. I was reading the message, but um but oh, I know what I was gonna say. Don't acquire things that you won't use within a short amount of time. So we did this at our old homestead. Anytime somebody had something free, we would be like, yeah, we can use that. Well, guess what? We didn't use it. One in particular was a garden, was a greenhouse that somebody had that needed to be taken down, and we took it. We never put it together before we moved out of that place, and it was there probably at least a year. So I will tell you there is some warning, like if you don't think you're going to put it together, let somebody else have it and bless them with it. Like you don't have to be the one that acquires it because you may actually end up with just junk around your property. So I will say that, like, if you haven't used it within a certain amount of time, just like give it to somebody else. um, yeah. So, oh, another one I think I like to say is, or my mentality about like it's just a little dirt. Like if there's little dirt on, like I'm not afraid of dirt, basically. I'm not afraid of dirt at all. And we have dirt, I mean, we clean and stuff like that, but we also have like dirt on things. Like if there's a little dirt on a carrot that I picked out of the garden and I eat it, I'm not super concerned about that. Dirt is good, and healthy dirt is good for you to have on your feet. It means you've been outside. But that's just one of the things I say. Uh, yeah, so those are just some of the things that I feel like I wanted to share and talk about, just like a fun conversation with you. I've had so many stories over the years that are just fun and entertaining, and I can't think of anything right now, but I want to do more YouTube live streams like this where just talk about the homesteading life and what it's like and how you know view things, what your perspective is like once you're a homesteader. I want to really talk about that kind of stuff. But I am right now going to go into the questions that I got from my group members, which if you're interested in joining that group, it's completely free. It's called the Homestead Income Plan Group. So I kind of help homesteaders with their income, generating income through the things that they um, grow or the products they sell, and products and services that they sell. So I have a whole group where I encourage people there as well. But I have a question. So I asked in the group if there were any questions about homesteading or homestead income related things. So I got one from one of our members named Jamie, and she says, I have land. Now what? How can I make it profitable and be in line with all the rules like the state or city laws? So I didn't give her like the information on. So I'm answering it right now, I guess, this part, but I didn't give her the rules. Like I don't deal with that. I don't deal with the legal and regulations and all that kind of stuff. I don't talk about that. But you can use ChatGPT now. It's very useful for that kind of thing. So use ChatGPT, figure out what it is that you need to do the legal way. But I will give you some ideas of what you can do. So she had also mentioned that she doesn't use her animals for eating. So there's a lot of things they can do if they're not going to eat their animals with their property. And they have a considerable amount of property. Um, so I would recommend you look into things that will, let your property, first of all, your animals pay for themselves. If they're not going to be eaten, you want them to try to pay for themselves. And one way you could do that is something like a petting zoo, if you feel like they're safe enough for that. If you're acquiring new animals, maybe make them safe enough for something like that. You could have a homeschool group come to your house, or you could have events, at your house. You could do kids camps. Kids camps is a really good thing, especially in the summer. You could do flower farming, or, like you pick type of flower farming. I think she mentioned that that's something that she's interested in, as well as doing like flower farming or any kind of you pick business. So those tend to be really good for someone who just has an excessive amount of land to be used. You can also lease grazing land. You can, lease it to horse people, or I think she might have said that there's cows on her property, but I can't remember. But you can lease it to people who have uh, horses, because they will actually probably pay you more. So a lot of people like that. Or you could just lease it to anybody who needs, a place for their animals to graze and they don't have the property. But the horse boarding was one, and self-care. There's a self-care part that some people will board their horses and take care of them themselves if you're not too far. Or you can do like a half and half thing where it's partial, like you do the feeding every morning or whatever, and they come and do the rest in the evening or something like that. There is a little bit of risk involved with the horses, because horses tend to like want to unalive themselves all the time. They don't, there's just more risk with horses, but it's definitely an option, especially the area I know that she is in. There are people all over looking for places to board their horses. Um, you can teach woodworking classes. I know this is also something that she is in. Woodworking classes would be a great option, I really think, for you guys, because you have the facility, you have the stuff. You could make it a homeschool group thing or something like that, or for adults. It could go either way. You could actually do Airbnb. I know there's some people that have. I mean, Airbnb is not what it used to be. So just say that. I mean, I still think it's a really great option, and a lot of people would choose Airbnb over other options. But that would require some investment by building a small cabin or a yurt or a travel trailer or something like that on your property. You could put it back, and it'd be like a farm experience. A tree farm is another idea. I know a lot of people who have done that, and you don't pick like you could do Christmas trees, but there are other trees as well. that you could be growing. And, if you're, where you are, trees just tend to grow. And then the last thought I had was like beehive rental space. So there's a lot of beekeepers that want to expand and they just don't have the place to keep their bees. So you could maybe rent out a spot on your property for people who want to keep bees. So those are some of the suggestions I have for you. If you don't want to use your animals for, if they don't provide food for you, they could provide the property itself, and the animals themselves could provide money for you in other ways. So those are some of the suggestions I have. The other question I got was from, let me see, it's from Sherry. I think her name is Sherry. Yeah, Sherry. She's asking about pests. The flies are ramping up again. This year was a nightmare. Mosquitoes as well. We're in a very damp and humid here and in the deep woods. So we are crawling on the best of days. But I feel like I'm being invaded by every kind of pest and disease there is. Last year I ordered fly predators, but dang, they are expensive. I have a ribbon up traps. I haven't put those out yet. I put out 5-gallon buckets, mosquito trap I bought, but it's empty. Anyway, she goes on to say that. So my suggestion, like, I struggle here too, especially in the damp areas like we are in. This is a struggle I have as well. So I can't say that I have the right answer for you, but I have used for flies anyway. I have used those reusable fly. Here, let me see if I can share my screen so that you can see. Let me see. Yeah, I'm going to share this screen. I have never done this before on YouTube, so hopefully you can. Okay. This is my Amazon page, and I put some of these homestead and farm pest control things in here. I have used, let me show you. I have used for flies anyway. I've used these. They're called ranch fly traps. I will say they're probably all made by the same company. Let me put this open. Oops, that didn't work. Okay, I will say they're probably all made by the same company. Let me go back up. I wouldn't call them like reusable, like you could use them forever. I would say they're like a season, maybe 2 seasons. And I'm pretty sure, like I said before, the same company. So it doesn't matter who you buy them from. Original person that made these, and I don't know. I don't think they sell them anymore. But yeah, you have to put your own bait inside of it. So some people have used wet cat food. We've used wet cat food. Can use fish or something like that. Some people said different things. I can't remember the list, but we've used wet cat food, like the canned cat food, and it's worked really well. I have had that half full with flies before, and other bugs too, because they end up getting in there as well. But flies really like those. So for the flies, I would recommend that. I have not tried this yet. My daughter just bought these things. I think this is what it is. I'll put this link in the description so you can. I think it just attracts them and then they go into it. Anyway, that's an option if you'd like, but so that you can check that out. Let me see. I will include it right now so that you can see. I'll include the link to that in. Oops. I think my connection went bad for a minute. Hopefully I'm still here. Anyway. Okay. So that is actually the last question I have. I wish I had more. I I wish I had more information for you on the pest control, but unfortunately I don't. We came from a very dry area in California to this very wet area where everything's bigger. The plants are bigger, the bugs are bigger, everything is bigger here. um, so I don't really have any real answers. Diatomaceous earth is one thing that I use for like crawly bugs, and that works really well. It works well on fleas, for fleas. It sometimes works okay to get ants away, but it's kind of messy and you have to use a lot for it to work. But those are some of the suggestions I have as well. Okay, that is all that I'm going to share today. If this video is something that you would like me to do more, please let me know. Oh, I want to share one last thing, that I have this planner, and I thought I'd show it live so you could see what it looks like. I have this planner that I created, and it's for sale on Amazon as well, and I'll leave that link as well. But I wanted you to be able to see what the inside looked like. It's an undated 6-month planner, so it's perfect for the rest of the month. And it's only, I think it's $13.99 is what I have it at. So it's not even very much money. So if you are interested in something that will keep you on track with your homesteading goals, this is it. I've been a big planner person for many years. So planners have been so useful. So I highly recommend you check that out. I'll leave the link in the description as well for that as well. And the other thing I wanted to share is that I have a free checklist. If you have not gotten it already, it's at healthyhomesteading.com/checklist. But I also leave the link in the description, or you can go to my homepage, like my channel page. That's one of the links there as well, and you can get that for free. It's just a guide I created to help people get started, to know, what it is that they should be doing in the very beginning. So it's very useful, and if so many, like hundreds of people have downloaded that. I don't think I'm at 1,000 yet, but it's been downloaded a lot. So I highly recommend you use that. Okay, my name is Mona Weathers, if you didn't know, and I will see you on the next time.